So I want to do a strength test between domino and traditional mortise and tenon, but we have a problem, which is I don't own a domino. But I know somebody who does, my friend Sean Boyd. He doesn't know we're coming, but we're just going to show up and see if we can use his domino. Oh, bummer. Doesn't look like Sean's here. That's all right. He won't mind if we let ourselves in. All right. Sean, you here, bud? All right, let's go real quick. Hopefully we can get this done before Sean gets back. Go, 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 go! Go, 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 go! Woo! That was close! Suck it, Sean Boyd! Whew, that was close. Sean Boyd, thanks for letting me use your domino. I didn't mean to wake you up from your nap, but all we have to do is finish putting together our testing apparatus, do some mortise and tenon. We'll let those dry overnight, and then we'll go ahead and start testing this thing. Okay, so let me talk you through how we're gonna make this test fair and how we're gonna get good results. We've gone ahead, you saw I made a bunch of them on the CNC, and that was so I can match the size of the domino, which is 8 by 40 by 22. And we've made a bunch of these, so I've got 11 or 12 of each, and we're gonna go ahead and test half vertically and half horizontally, and that'll give us a good idea if there's a difference between strength up and down versus left to right. I've got my bottlenose jack. It's going to be in the same place every time. I've measured out 9 inches on each test piece, and so we're going to go ahead and zoom in right here on our digital scale. We've zeroed it with the jack on there. We're going to have 2 cameras. One is going to be looking right at the joint, and one's going to be looking right at the digital readout. The digital readout is a little bit jumpy, so we're gonna go ahead and put the highest number on the screen after each test. We're gonna whip through them real quick so that we can get a good recording and scientific data of everything, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the results. So let's get started with the test. We're gonna go ahead and start jacking it. David Picciuto, that was for you. We're gonna do the first half vertically and then the second half horizontally. So let's get started. So instead of showing you just 8 minutes of footage of me breaking joints and reading the numbers, I wanted to talk a little bit about how this experiment came to be. I've been thinking about buying the domino and was really curious as to the strength of a domino versus a traditional mortise and tenon. I really thought that a domino was going to blow mortise and tenon out of the water because there's 2 glue surfaces. You essentially cut 2 mortises and you have a floating tenon, and since wood glue has been proven to be stronger than wood itself, I thought for sure that a domino was going to definitely be the stronger joint. So I designed this apparatus that you see me testing here by just cutting up some 2x4s, making sure everything was in the right place and at 90 degrees. And then what I did was I reinforced it kind of the same way you would reinforce a house in framing. I used steel straps and some wood to make sure that the posts were extra rigid. I screwed it down to my bench, and then I created some cross members that were screwed in several locations and were extra wide so they would create extra rigidity. I bought a 400-pound shipping scale. which actually we found that we had to go kind of slow with it to get accurate readings because it sort of lagged slightly behind. This was actually our second attempt at creating this experiment, and the reason being that the first time we had too little of a sample size and I cut the mortise and tenons by hand, which turned out that there was just too much discrepancy in size to really have an accurate result. So as you saw, I went ahead and I designed a bunch of mortise and tenons on Fusion 360 and then cut them out on the CNC. And that really ensured that just like the domino, every single joint was exactly the same size as the domino and fit very snugly together just like a domino. And that really created a sense of accuracy that I just didn't have the first time we attempted this. I also decided to test them both horizontally and vertically because when you look at a mortise and tenon or a domino, it's wider horizontal than it is vertically. And so I wanted to see if there was a difference in strength when you test them each way. When I did test them horizontally, I needed to find a different way to clamp them. Up and down was easy because everything was so rigid. It was just a matter of getting it in the same place every time so that the bottlenose jack sat over the center of the scale. But when I went horizontal, I needed to use parallel clamps because they have 1,000 pounds of clamping pressure in a parallel manner. And so it was easy to affix the joint to the cross member without it having too much play up and down, which would affect the result. And to ensure that we got the same results, what I did was I measured 9 inches out on each piece and then made sure that the jack was centered on that every time. And actually I was really surprised with the results. So let's talk about those. All in all, I think the results were pretty surprising to me. It didn't really matter whether the piece was in the vertical or the horizontal position. On average, they really came out to be very close to each other. The dominoes typically failed on the connecting piece. That piece would split and release the domino, as you can see here. And then on the mortise and tenon, usually the piece that was clamped to the apparatus would split and release the tenon, or the tenon itself would just shear off. The mortise and tenon vertically came out to 49 2/3 pounds on average. The domino came out to 39.36 pounds vertically. Horizontally, the mortise and tenon was 51.24 pounds on average, and the domino was 37.76 pounds on average. Now, in each category, there was one outlier that would kind of be a lot stronger or a lot weaker, which could have been due to a knot or some sort of dysfunction with the grain. But I think the test results really speak for themselves. Mortise and tenon is about 20% stronger than your domino, but I don't know that that makes a massive difference in your standard furniture building. I think that, you know, when you're talking about holding power, they're all going to work well for your standard furniture applications. If you're going to do something that is like a stool or something where it's going to be really high use stuff with a lot of weight on it, maybe go with mortise and tenon. But I hope that this test really shed some light onto the strength of dominoes versus mortise and tenon for you. And I hope you enjoyed watching. Guys, stay safe in the shop. Have a wonderful day and Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.